So, Leanne Pooley from Unforgettable Products. An increase of 28%. That's double digit, but way more than just 10%. An increase of 28% in revenue in the last 12 months. There's only one thing that puts money into your business, and that's called sales and revenue. Everything else takes it out. So be careful not to take your eye off that one. But at Unforgettable Products, we've had an increase in revenue in a very competitive industry of 28% in the last 12 months. Average dollar sale has increased by almost 63%. In other words, the education to our loyal and trusted and most desired target market has increased to such a point. The education. And ultimately, they're trusting us to keep on buying more and more from us and selling through the products that they buy from us every other day on their shelf has increased by 63%. So average dollar sale increase in the last 12 months by 63%. Client base is now buying on average 11.8 times per year. 11.8 times per year. When we started on a journey about 18 months ago, the number on that was about 4.1. So they are almost buying once a month with an average dollar increase of 63%. So start doing the numbers, what that actually means, and how the contribution to revenue growth is not about finding more customers, more. It's about looking after the ones you've got better. It's about looking after those ones so much better that they trust you so much more that they don't need to go to your competitor to buy more product. You are their solution to their needs, and therefore they trust you with that shelf space, as Patrick was sharing a moment ago. Recent accolades. In 2015, Royal Melbourne Show Best Exhibitor, which is not a mean feat. It's a fantastic outcome when you consider who's there. 2015, Best Food Outlet at the Canberra Show, second place. 2014, Royal Melbourne Show Best Taste of Victoria Pavilion Exhibitor. But this next fact is the one that counts. See, I'm not that concerned about your results. I'm so much more focused on your activity. Show me your activity, explain to me your activity, tell me what your plan in terms of activity will be, and I'll almost nail what your result will be thereafter. We have had over 25,000 tastings. 25,000 tastings within the last year. I'm not sure what 25,000 tastings means to everyone here, but that's 25,000 opportunities for someone to pick our product or spoon our product and put it in their mouth over the last 12 years.
1 year.
Over the last 1 year. Yeah. Did I say 12 years? Yeah. Well, 2,000 is still good enough, isn't it? But let me tell you about 25. Amazing. Leanne Pooley, Unforgettable Products. Obviously, you've been a businesswoman and various aspects of it over your journey, some in South Africa, in liquor stores, and again, that whole food, beverage environment has been something you're very familiar with. But several years ago, 8 years ago in fact, you started playing in the kitchen, and the family and friends were no different to our, I guess anything in life. They're saying, this is amazing, right? No one's going to tell you anything that's, I guess, might hurt your feelings, particularly if you're catering for them. But then you decided, hang on, I'm going to start something here. You had a real purpose to marry your passion with it becoming a business, and hence the birth of Unforgettable Products. And if there's one thing that is true and befitting, and I'm not big into business names. I think, if you name your son Bartholomew and he gets known as Bartholomew, that's a cool name, right? Whereas many people think boo. But Unforgettable Products as the name of this business, which ultimately has a strong sense of being unforgettable once you put it in your mouth and have the taste bud sensations going on. Becoming a business 8 years ago, what was, again, at that stage of your life, your greatest motivation of doing that?
As Stefan said, it all started 8 years ago from a passion of just enjoying good food. I had to go back to the basics and start from scratch with this business, but I needed to prove to myself that I could do a business myself. So it was a proof to myself that I could do this, and I've done it, and I've got stronger along the way, and Unforgettable Products is just, it's up there now, which is very self-satisfying for me.
And when you, I guess, take on board the results and the outcomes over the last 12 months and again, the continued growth and the forecast for growth, and it's not aggressive growth, but it's consistent, it's deliberate, and it's definitely benchmark. That crossroad of 12, 18 months ago, running something that kept you very busy, and the money was ticking in, and you were here, there, and everywhere. 12 to 18 months ago, you were at a certain crossroad, and you decided, hang on, I've got to take this to another level. And you've been there before, so you knew exactly the decision you were making. But with this particular business, Unforgettable Products, what do you believe was holding you back in perhaps not making that decision sooner?
The decision to find more clarity in my business.
And grow it.
I've been with Stefan 18 months now, but about a year prior to that, I was at a real crossroads of what I wanted from my business. I didn't feel I had any clarity. I didn't feel I had the direction. I didn't know where I was going, and I needed someone to just help me along those lines, to tell me that what I was doing was right, to tell me that if I wasn't doing it right, how to do it better. And at that stage, I saw an ad in the paper, big letters in our local paper, that said, come and listen to this person speaking about this topic that was unleashing the power of your customers. And it really got my interest and my motivation. I thought, well, maybe I can get some words of wisdom from this presenter. So I phoned up and booked into this course at the Manningham Council. The presenter was Stefan. Great presentation. I was so motivating. The words of wisdom were fantastic, and I really had to contain my excitement because I did want to join the program, but I thought, no, I'll just keep myself cool for a little bit, and bought his book and read it. But that was a real turning point for me in my business because it gave me some clarity about where I wanted to go, and there was help there for me, and that was amazing.
Thanks so much, and this is so much more about you than it is about me. So I guess what systems did you need to put in place? Because there was no doubting the products and the passion, the serviceability to the client base was exceptional and will continue to be. That's never going to be your weakest point. But systems, what systems have you created and pushed through with, as difficult as they are sometimes, to get to this point right now to keep on growing?
I've had to refine a lot of systems that I had in my business, systems that I pulled from my previous experience when I ran the supermarket and the bottle store. Those systems worked, but they certainly needed to be refined. But more recent systems like my barcoding, which is just making it easy for the customers to buy from me. I've got shops waiting down the line there for supplies for my product because they're waiting for my barcode. So it's all coming really, really quickly. My packaging and labelling, I've tweaked that and changed that. I've had a few breakages in my store, so I need to be able to hone my product so that it sits on the shelf very proud, no breakages, and that it makes it easier again for my customer to buy from me and for them to know that my product can sit on the shelf and they don't get the breakages from customers handling them. And of course the labelling makes it much more time effective and cost effective for me, for my staff to be able to put the labels on my packages and bottles. So they've been great new systems that I've put in. That,
How long will those systems last for?
Oh, forever. They'll be honed along the way, I suppose, as I grow, but those systems, because I've done them properly from the start, they're good systems.
Yeah, and it's an investment, isn't it?
It definitely is an investment.
It's going to pay back for a long time.
Definitely an investment.
So when you think about systems that people can follow, and let's talk about people for a moment, and again, the growth of the individuals and also yourself from moving from being the best X to the best business owner. What have you actually embraced as a single change for you in the people management system?
Once upon a time, I used to be very proud to say to people, I made that. Everything in that packet I've piped. Now, the biggest thing that I've changed in my business is training my staff to be more productive, which has freed me up to be upstairs in my office to generate sales, to be on the phone, to get those sales coming in so that I can get those dollars in as well to pay for all the investment of the labels and the barcodes. But that investment in the time of training my staff, I'm so proud to say that one of my staff is better and quicker at piping than I am. And I told her yesterday, she had tears in her eyes. It was just fantastic. So that has been a real change for me in my business. And it's made me more productive. I've had time to be able to generate sales rather than just be busy doing this all day long. So that's a great change for me.
Does it serve you long term?
Oh, definitely. this girl that I've got, well, my staff at the moment, my attitude towards my staff has not changed, it's got deeper, because I always wanted them to be happy with me, but I want them to be productive. I want them to be proud of working for Unforgettable Products. And they are, because they also are out in the field talking about my product. If they see it in a shop, I have one girl that'll go and just gently tidy it up if it's not sitting straight on the shelf. But I'm very proud of my girls, and yes, it's been a very good investment, the time I've spent with them, just training them and getting them to work more together as a team with me. And I share more with them, I must say. I never used to share the way I share now. I'm quite a private person, but I share a lot, not figures or anything like that, but I share my feelings. I share when we get a new shop. I get excited when we say, oh, we're going to Cairns now, or we're doing this, or it's really, really lovely.
So when you think about the journey and ultimately what's shaping up to be the next stage, what do you see? What does the eye of the mind confirm for you, the vision? What do you see over the next 12 to 24 months for where Unforgettable Products progresses, and the momentum that we have, the rhythm that we have? How do we ensure that we deliver on the promise?
Stefan, because I've got those systems in place, I'm much more confident with dealing with a lot of things now. I look at my figures regularly, and that accountability, we do have that to board of directors, 12 the accountability. That's what I have learned. But it just made me more aware of things. And I've set myself goals now that once upon a time I sort of treat as a dream. It's a goal. I do want to, 2 years' time, and this is a goal, not a dream, I want to be pushing $1 million turnover, and I want to triple my customer base. And I can see that. I can see it where before I could never, didn't think it would happen. I knew you'd make me do this. Thank you. A bit of whiskey in here.
It's the good gin. It's good stuff. Okay, so in 2 years, and it's important to timeline things. It's also important not to set yourself up for failure, let's call it. So, I think what you said, the last part of that sharing is way more important than anything, that you can actually see it. That it's so much more possible in the eye of the mind today than it ever was. And I think that's the power in just getting really clear on what is it and ultimately why does it need to be that. I mean, you think about, forget about the revenue level, but tripling the customer base for which continues to buy more often, and continues to spruik and be the chosen ones for your shelf space within their retail space, right? When you think about that and the impact, the roll-on, and the amazing, I sense your product because it's that sort of, it's a taste bud sensation. So when you put it in your mouth, there's a Mexican hat dance going on. So it's phenomenal. So it's an unforgettable, in true sense, experience. And thereafter is the long-lasting taste of an amazingly structured, put-together product that has many people saying, oh, wow. I mean, there's plenty of times when Leanne brings bits and pieces to the office for us to share, and every one of us is sort of... Nikki generally gets the big bags, and we're all sort of hoping Nikki does the right thing, and and she does. She definitely shares, but I know what it's like to go home and say, boys and Terry, we've got something here, and we'll have it after dinner or after your homework's finished. And homework gets done very quickly that night, I must say.
Oh,
so
good.
I might need to invest in your business. But more importantly, it's that whole experience. And I think Patrick mentioned it before. It's not about the food. Everyone wants food. Rain, hail or shine, you're going to put something in your mouth. But to turn something in your mouth into something that's unforgettable. It's the bite-sized pieces of something that's unforgettable that make you so memorable. You don't need grand, you don't need big, you just need long-lasting and predictable. So I have no challenge with, again, you put a number on the timeline and you put a number on the revenue, but the thing that gets me way more excited is the fact that you can see it and it's real, and it's a journey that has a plan, and day by day you're executing it. What would be some advice that you would have, again, for small business owners? And small business owners in my world, guys, is anything up to $50 million turnover, for which we don't have too many of them in this room today, but that is SME, no matter how you look at it. But we all started somewhere, so I don't want you to forget about that. We heard a moment ago the journey over 40, 50 years, and here we are, third generation, the brand, the integrity of the values and the brand continues, which is sacred, it's key. Your business and what you've learnt, what could be 2 or 3 things that you could have as tips for SMEs that, again, are coming out of their home office, building something that's going somewhere and will force you to get out of where you are into the next space, and you've got to chase the dream, right? What are 3 or 4 tips you can give us in terms of that?
Tips for me, Stefan. I don't know, one of the things with the small business owners is that we are always tired because we're always working. We're always struggling to make ends meet with cash flow. I have a big thing on my board that says remember to run gently, and I look at it every day because I do tend to go a little bit fast at things, but I look at this and I hold back a little bit. But that fatigue that we deal with as business owners, and I've turned that around, and to have that feeling of tiredness when you've achieved something, like if you've got your sales after phone calls, or if you've been on the phone, which can be tiring, but you've made this your order board is full because you've been on the phone, you've generated these sales. I mean, that's a tiredness but come of achievement, which is just so fantastic. So never be scared of being fatigued or the struggle side of it. I mean, I know sometimes when I get out on the road and I go and see my customers and I think, oh, I've got to drive, I've got to do this, and it is exhausting, but you get into the shop and you see your product, or you might see your service that they're using, but you see your product on someone's shelf and, oh, I'm so proud. And it's that struggle, that exhaustion, but it's such a feeling of achievement that is just, no words can really explain that. And I think with any business, most of us have started off with a passion for what we love. You've got to have that passion. You've got to be passionate about it, but you need to have your systems with the passion. But my husband has a great saying I make a beautiful passion fruit curd. He does a lot of my markets and sales, and he's a very gentle man, tells terrible dad jokes, but when he sells a passion fruit curd, he turns around and he says to customers, he'll say, everyone needs a little passion in their life and we bottle it.
I love it.
Then he pauses for a little bit and he says, and depending on how much passion you need, you change the size of your spoon. Now, I think that's a really good one, and that's changing the size of your spoon is like a mindset. So we could have a little spoon or we could have a big spoon. And since being part of Board of Directors 12 too, that's what I've learned. I've learned to change the size of my spoon, and anything can happen.
Wow, that was cool. That was really cool. Not the last bit, but the whole thing there. Questions. I mean, here is a business owner that, again, up until 2 years ago, was to a certain degree, living a dream. Cooking in the kitchen and people trusting the packaged end product and paying for it and coming back and buying it again. That's an achievement. But at some point that gets to a level where you think, hang on, if I keep on doing it this way, I'm going to die. Die a slow death and not really get to the extent and the possibilities that are before me. Questions?
Leanne, I've got a question. What has been your compelling secret? What has gotten you to where you are right now?
Perseverance and reputation. I pride myself on my reputation. I'm very consistent with what I do, and that consistency shines through in my product and my customer service with my suppliers and my retailers. I think that's really, really important. I know I have a beautiful product, but you can't just sell a beautiful product, you need to sell your reputation. I saw a great sign in Flinders Street once that it was for I think it's a cider or a beer, huge sign, and it said, our name is on the outside, our reputation's on the inside. I wish I'd thought of it first. It's brilliant. So I just think that's really important. Same with, I suppose, if you've got a service that you're offering, your reputation and your trust and respect that Patrick spoke about is that's paramount to running a strong and successful business.
Yeah, Great answer.
Leanne, another question. I admire what you've done. I've been following your products for a few years.
Thank
now.
you.
What you started, you've obviously made your products. My question is, how did you get to the point where you knew, obviously these were your recipes, things that were close to your heart. How did you get to the point where you were ready to bring in other people to actually be making something that you were so passionate about, your product, your food? How did you get to that stage?
I couldn't do it all. It was too busy. My family was suffering. I had to move downstairs. I converted the bottom floor of a home in Warrandyte to a commercial kitchen. I needed more space. I physically couldn't do it all. So I had to get help. I started with family and a girlfriend, but then I looked elsewhere. And it didn't have to be someone that was passionate about food. That helps, of course it helps. But at the moment I've got 2 Italian girls working for me. They're wonderful and they are passionate about food, but they're not cooks or chefs. They just love food and they're great workers. I've got another girl that brings in jam sandwiches for lunch. That's what she loves. She's very ochre, she's gorgeous, she's a fantastic worker, but I can't do it on my own anymore, and I know that. And I put a lot of time and effort into training my girls because I want them to be happy and I want them to stay with me because I can't do it without them anymore. So it was just a progression of the business growing and building that you realise it's a physical impossibility. And that's how it happened.
But interestingly enough, as the business grew and grows, the ability for Leanne not to be where she was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, even 2 months ago, and free herself up to be, I guess, the leader that grows opportunity versus managing opportunity is critical. And it's a fundamental point, and we'll talk about it in a moment in our think tank. Just that point of, okay, here we are, and in fairness, I can't be at the 11th hour again when I need to make this decision. So you learn, and as you go through the phases of growth, you start learning that the decisions, particularly the people decisions, the system, the logistic decisions, those big chunkier decisions, which have got nothing to do with passion, happen a lot earlier as you continue to grow your business. So just a question from me, hiring team, building team, moving forward, is it going to be different now versus 18 months ago?
Oh, definitely, Stefan. Definitely. I know what I'm looking for now. I know the qualities I'm looking for. So rather than just having help to get me over a hump or a choke board because I've got all this product to make, I would look for not. I know what I would look for now in a staff member, and also someone that will grow with me. So different qualities rather than just a worker.
Or even someone you like. And I know that's hard for you.
You have to have the respect for someone.
Correct.
I think.
2 choices when it comes to people, no matter where you play the game. You either like them or you respect them. In business, it's about respect. In your personal life, you need to like. That's a clear distinction when you're building team.
And you have both.
Bonus. But if you respect them, you'll like them. But you'll know assertiveness comes with respect. One more question, guys. One more question, anybody? Craig, do you have a question? Sure you do. Craig may do.
What is the food? Sorry, you mentioned the range of your food. I'll speak to Jason.
I do a beautiful range of food that puts the fun back into your cooking and catering, and that includes beautiful meringues in gourmet shapes and sizes. So because everything in my kitchen's hand piped, I've got the ability to custom make things for people, so that gives me an edge over my competitors as well. But because I was using all the egg white for the meringues, I had all this yolk that started the development of my curds. So I do a beautiful lemon, passion fruit and a lime curd. I do little pastry cases to complement the curds and the little meringues on the top so people can make their own meringue kiss lemon tart. So all my products are complementary as well. I do beautiful honeycomb, which is such a boy product. My sales at markets and events is always the boys that love the honeycomb. And I've developed my own recipe and my own creation, which is a meringue crunch. So it's what I call a sophisticated version of Rocky Road using meringue and almonds instead of peanuts and marshmallow. Very visual product, and it tastes just as good as it looks. So a beautiful range of unforgettable products.
That was not the question I was hoping you'd ask. I hope you bought some. Did you? Oh, no. That's okay. You'll find it at Lamana Direct in about a week's time, okay? As you enter to the left, that's exactly where you'll find it.
Or Gourmet Living now.
Yes, Gourmet Living, absolutely. Geez, you know, they actually say, and it's such a terrible myth, you know, the manufacturing industry in Australia is dying. And who are these people that say such crazy things? What an awesome opportunity being in a manufacturing-based business. Yes, in the space of food, in the slither of, you know, I guess, you know, wants, desire type food versus need-based food. But wow, what an awesome story that just will keep on evolving. Keep your eyes on this because it's going to be a phenomenal journey as it continues to grow. Because we do know, you know, you are the sum of, you know, the people or the influence you hang around with. And if there's one thing for sure, Unforgettable Products, even if it was a physical impossibility, you will deliver on time and on promise and just a little bit more every other time. Just a phenomenal operator that is understanding the distinct difference from being the best employee and becoming the best business owner. So, well done, Leanne.
Thank you.
And again, just a very quick thank you, and I'm hoping there's not unforgettable products in that box.
It doesn't matter.
I'm only joking.